LSU football, another hire. Breaking news today, Brian Kelly announced Bo Davis is the new defensive line coach. This comes after the news of Blake Baker joining the staff. Brian Kelly doing everything he can to revamp this defense, make sure it's in much better shape. Give you some background on Bo Davis real quick. He was a former All-SEC nose guard for LSU. He spent the past 3 seasons at Texas. They obviously went to the college football playoff this year, lost to Washington, but had one of the top defenses, the 3rd best rushing defense across the nation. He coached D-line at Bama from 2007 to 2010 and again in the 2014-2015 season. In his 12 years of coaching the defensive line in college football, he has produced 17 all-conference selections and 7 All-Americans. He's also coached players who have won the Outland Trophy, the Defensive Player of the Year in the Big 12 and Conference USA, along with the Big 12 Defensive Lineman of the Year. Coached in the NFL, Lions, Dolphins, Jags. Got a pretty good record there. If you're going to bring in somebody to fix the defense, this might be a guy you want on your staff. Again, joining Blake Baker, I think he's going to bring a lot of fire, passion to this defense that seemed to be lacking a little bit. It looked like they were missing that extra oomph, you know what I mean? There's a recording of him just railing the Texas defense after they lost to Iowa 30-7 in 2021. I guess they were on the bus, mic'd up, shout out mic'd up. They resurfaced that video. I guess one of the players recorded it. And he was just, you could hear, it sounded like his voice was cracking, like he was on the verge of crying at how much motivation and the team lacked and the defensive performance. But I think that's something we're missing on defense, which would explain why Brian Kelly is doing what he's doing right now, firing the people that need to go and bringing the right guys in that probably fit the culture a little better and are going to get the results. You're losing Mekhi Wingo, or you've already lost Mekhi Wingo. You lost Mason Smith. They're both headed to the NFL or to the draft at least. You're left with 2 scholarship players, so you're going to need to rebuild this defensive line. It starts from the top. It starts with the staff. It also starts with recruiting, and he's got quite the recruiting record. Just some names of guys that he's recruited. Deron Payne, Raekwon Davis, Anthony Jennings, Quinnen Williams, Terrence Cody, Marcel Darius. I mean, you look at those names, he did a mighty fine job. He's produced stars all over the board. So I think very good move to bring in Bo Davis to this defensive staff. Thoughts?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think this is the best hire we've seen so far. Again, like you said, 3rd best rush defense in the country at Texas this year. Also, in terms of recruiting, like I know you just went through some of it, but the guys that he brought in when he was at Alabama, Deron Payne, Raekwon Davis, Anthony Jennings, Quinnen Williams, Terrence Cody, Marcel Darius, like stupid. Like you recognize all those names and you're not a Bama fan.
Yep.
So that's huge. Again, Outland Trophy this year. Best defensive lineman in the Big 12 over at Texas this year, both under him. Side note, I love what Brian Kelly is doing. He came in, he kind of cleared out everybody. Like he brought in his own staff. But who did he retain? He retained Brad Davis at offensive line. That's an LSU guy. He played at LSU. There's kind of smoke in the air about Corey Raymond. Nothing's official, but there's smoke around that.
I've seen it.
He brought back Frank Wilson, running back coach, great recruiter. Now he's bringing back a guy, an LSU alum in Bo Davis. Like, I love setting the culture of guys who've been here, who've done it, who know the standard, and can go out and lock down the state. We've heard tons of coaches. Everybody who's come through since Saban has said they're going to lock down the state of Louisiana. And the first guy that we've seen really do it to this point was just at Notre Dame. Yeah. Like Brian Kelly, the guy that we said couldn't recruit, wasn't going to set up a good staff. Right. Now he's here with guys that are from LSU and has 11 of the 12 best players in Louisiana in this next year's class. There were a
lot of doubters. We talked about that on the show the other day about people saying that Brian Kelly can't recruit. Like you said, Brian Kelly has locked down the state of Louisiana within the staff, within the recruits. He's building a culture and getting back to what LSU is. Can't ask for anything else.
And the staff he's building is incredible. Also, just one note about Bo Davis here, which I could not be more ecstatic about. For years on end, who's been the big dog in the SEC? Just won the SEC this year, for that matter.
Right.
Alabama. Held them to 3 yards a carry in Tuscaloosa this year and sacked Jalen Milroe 5 times. Matter of fact, had such a great performance that Jalen Milroe didn't start the next week. Like, this is, I know that Alabama was progressing and they weren't exactly what they were in week 2, what they were at the end of the year. But you don't think Texas defense had a part or a say in that? You get to the quarterback 5 times against anybody. That's a hell of a feat. You hold Alabama, one of the best rushing teams in the country, who's known for their big boys up front, who's known to be a ground and pound type team. That's the thing. That's what Saban said before the season was, we're going back to Alabama football. We're going to run it down your throat. In week 2, Texas said, no, you're not. And we went and got them. Love it.
Bold move by Brian Kelly. I love it. It's a great step. We're headed in the right direction. I think I can say that with confidence. I think a lot of LSU fans feel that same way. That's all we got. Just a quick little LSU football update. There's going to be a lot of movement during the offseason, transfer portal, new staff hires. Like we said, Brian Kelly's doing what he can to change the direction of at least the defense and keep that offense moving forward. You're going to see a lot of success from LSU football in the future, I think. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all soon.